that we're viewing the student's behavioral challenges through progressive lenses. And now that we've used the ALSUP to identify the student's unsolved problems, we've answered the question, when? Good that we're quite clear about the task at hand. And now that we've used the problem-solving plan to prioritize, we know which unsolved problems we'll be trying to solve first, and the ones we're setting aside for now. Good that we know what we're working on. We're now ready to start thinking about our options. There are basically 3 options for dealing with unsolved problems, and they're called Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C. Plan A refers to solving a problem unilaterally, typically through the imposition of adult will. Plan A is far and away the most popular way that adults handle problems or unmet expectations with kids, and not only in schools. Its popularity notwithstanding, Plan A can actually be counterproductive in many ways and, for a variety of reasons, isn't the ideal approach to solving problems. More on that in a few paragraphs. Plan C involves setting aside a particular unsolved problem, at least temporarily. Don't worry, Plan C is not the equivalent of giving in or capitulating. There's no such thing as giving in or capitulating in the CPS model. There is, however, such a thing as prioritizing in the CPS model, and as you've heard, prioritizing is actually a crucial aspect of organizing our efforts to help behaviorally challenging students. Plan B involves solving a problem collaboratively. It's Plan B that helps you create a partnership with the student. It has the greatest potential for durably solving problems, helps you engage the student in solving the problems that affect his life, and simultaneously, but indirectly, teaches the student the skills he's lacking. By the way, if a student is meeting a given expectation, you don't need a plan. It's not an unsolved problem. The plans are purely for the expectations a student is having difficulty meeting. The plans provide a nice framework, a shorthand for considering how we're approaching unsolved problems. If you're trying to solve a problem, you're using either Plan A, Plan B, or Plan C. Let's take a closer look at each option. Plan A. If a kid isn't meeting a given expectation, one way to solve the problem is by imposing a solution. The words, "I've decided that," tell you that's exactly what you're doing, as in, because you're having difficulty keeping your hands to yourself in line when you're walking to recess, I've decided that you'll be walking next to me in the back of the line from now on. Or, because you're having difficulty completing your math when you're seated next to Alberto, I've decided that you'll be sitting next to my desk for math. Notice, having an expectation and imposing a solution aren't the same thing. In the first example, keeping hands to self when in line walking to recess is the expectation the student is having difficulty meeting. The imposed solution is walking next to the teacher. In the second example, completing the math work is the expectation the student is having difficulty meeting. Sitting next to the teacher is the imposed solution. So don't get confused. Using Plan A to solve a problem is not the same thing as having an expectation. Put a different way, just because you have an expectation doesn't mean you're using Plan A. That's important because one of the common reactions to the CPS model, especially the part of the model that discourages the use of Plan A, is that it involves abandoning all expectations. It doesn't involve anything of the sort. You still have expectations, lots of them. How you go about handling unmet expectations, unilaterally or collaboratively, is a completely different matter. There are a few drawbacks with using Plan A to solve problems. The first is that Plan A greatly heightens the likelihood of challenging behavior in challenging kids. The vast majority of incompatibility episodes that occur in schools, and everywhere else, are precipitated by an adult responding to a problem, often emergently, using Plan A. Using Plan A might make a great deal of sense if it were your only option for solving problems, but it's not.